Hi guys, and welcome back to cfctvyt. My name is Michelle.
And my name is Nina. Welcome back to Carefree Queens, guys. We hope that all of you are doing well. We hope that you have swallowed the defeat against West Ham, which was disappointing because I think we were all very hyped for that game, expected to bag our first 3 points of the season, but instead we conceded 3 goals and only scored 1. So it's safe to say it didn't go our way. But it's the second game of the season. There were positives to take. Our only goal scorer sustained an injury and he's out for 6 weeks now. It's just such a shame that this has happened. We're so unlucky. We celebrate and then something just has to go wrong immediately. We were given a penalty. We didn't score it. Enzo Fernandez, I think, had a very weak penalty there, but, missed it. And then they were fighting, the whole game. They got red cards and they were still looking like they were chasing the leads, consistently testing us, testing Sanchez. And we did lose our heads a little bit. Michelle, what did you think about it?
Absolutely. I loved first half.
And even though it was a slow start to the first half as well, if you remember, we gave
I very well do remember, and I was a bit skeptical, but I feel like the entirety of first half was brilliant. Sterling especially, and I've been very hard on Sterling.
Oh, so have I.
I will criticize whoever I feel like is deserving of criticism, but I will also admit if they're not really that deserving of it anymore. And Sterling was absolutely phenomenal. He was lacking in product like every single other player, but it was just they were running for each other. They were putting in a shift, each and every one of them. And even though they did lose the ball, they would go 110% in to retrieve it again. So the work ethic in the first half was just, it was very, very pleasant to watch, for me at least. And I couldn't really, it was really hard for me to put a finger on a single player in the first half. If I were to say one tiny thing, that was that penalty. And quite frankly, if it had been scored, the game would have looked completely different. It would have been a completely different outcome. But shit happens. Should have been a way better penalty. That was just, it was not good enough. And you win some, you lose some. This should have been a win, and it's frustrating.
No, I hear you on that, but I was surprised. I don't know about you. I was surprised it was Enzo that was going to take the penalty. I thought it could be Sterling. I thought it also could be Jackson, but I can't lie. I don't think Enzo was my first and immediate, player there. But, yeah, there we go. I mean, we've got to test it out again today. Pardon?
Why do you think he was picked to shoot?
I don't know. It's a good question. I feel like perhaps maybe Pochettino knows that he's been involved in penalty shootouts, before at that high level, in the World Cup as well. I can't remember if he took one in the final, but he did at some point in the tournament, and he missed that penalty actually. And, it kind of just shows that I think Pochettino is trying to test and see if he can, put him under that pressure and if he will deliver. I think he just crack under that pressure. And of course, when you've got West Ham's fans standing just behind there, booing you, it does cause you some pressure. And, we do forget Enzo is absolutely brilliant, but he's still young. He's very, very young, and he's going to make mistakes. I don't know if he expected that he'd be a penalty taker as well. I mean, I'm sure obviously Pochettino has spoken to players, but I think it was more of a trial and error kind of situation where, because had he scored it, no one's going to be questioning whether Enzo can, take penalties or not. Maybe it would have been his lucky day, but then maybe the next 2, 3, 4 pens he would have taken, he would have missed. So it's one of those things where it's tricky to place your finger, but I think Pochettino is testing things out and he is trying things out. I mean, Sterling perhaps makes a bit more sense experience-wise, being a little bit more composed and having taken penalties as well before. But I think it was more of a perspective of giving him the opportunity. And this is where people forget, and Chelsea fans have been a bit too quick to judge the players, of 2 games, is that they're still new to the team. They're still barely played with each other. It's a completely new system, and it's just still trying things out. I think because the bar was set so high in preseason in terms of results and, bringing in these big name signings, is that everyone expected, yeah, there you go, you've paid so much money, it's got to work. But you've also got to put the training in, you've also got to put the work in, and I think we haven't still had enough time to do that. And this is perhaps where we fell short, because there was a lot of good signs. People forget, like, well, this is the team we pretty much played against Liverpool, and we were in control of that game. We were talking about basically winning that game and talking about we should have bagged 3 points in that game. So it's just about testing and that team getting used to each other. Yes, they made more mistakes than perhaps good passes and involvement and whatnot, but at the end of the day, you try and you learn. And the thing with Carney is we've seen that he's only gotten better because he's been starting. He played a season. A lot of questions were being asked, is he going to get loaned out? Is he not? But no, clearly he impressed Poch, and he saw him as part of our plans moving forward in the Premier League as well. Started against Liverpool, started against West Ham, scored his first Chelsea goal, and unfortunately was injured. And he's out for 6 weeks, Michelle.
Yeah, but I just feel like that's our luck. It has to happen. It's not really... It's still frustrating and annoying, but it's not really surprising me that much anymore. It's just our luck. But I just quickly want to get back to your point with Sterling would have probably been more reliable. I do get your viewpoint with Poch testing things out. I, however, want to ask you, maybe he should have picked a different game, such as Luton at home. Do you know what I mean? Picked an easier game to test players like Enzo, who are still young, who are still a bit inexperienced, and then play it more safe in situations where you want to make sure. It was 1-1 when he had to take that penalty. Do you know what I'm getting at? I get your point of view, but maybe
I get what you're saying.
Testing for another game.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to know everything afterwards. It's just, I think that would have been, like I said, it would have been a completely different game. I genuinely think that Carney receiving that injury did a lot to the game as well, especially because he scored his first goal. He was involved in a lot of things, and you sort of take that aspect out of the game. Even though I was very excited to see Mudryk come on, I genuinely do think it would have been a different game if that had not happened to Carney.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Like when it's 1-1 and you are chasing the lead, especially before half time, it's always good to be ahead at half time. And we know we don't have the best record of conceding in the first half and then, coming back in the second half. That's always been a difficult to near impossible job for us. So I get what you're saying about we should have perhaps stuck with a more reliable, in the name of Sterling, someone who was actually doing very well in that game as well to perhaps do that. But then again, here you go, like Pochettino seems to be willing to take those risks, willing to take the risks in the big games that do count, and you are trying to win. But yeah, no, I absolutely agree to you. And with Sterling on that point, I put my hands up and I say I'm wrong, because I said he should have been benched this game, and he clearly was, the best player in the pitch, got involved. Perhaps sometimes I was itching for him to just cut in rather than keep taking it up until the end and trying to dribble through, 3 players at once. It just, look up and pass. But he still tried consistently, and, his efforts didn't go unnoticed. So cheers for that, Raz. But anyways, moving on, let's talk about the 115 million British pounds signing that made his debut against West Ham in the second half. Wow. Michelle, was that the worst debut you've ever seen in your life? Because
it was so dead and it was so disappointing.
And I just think, because it was obviously going to be either the best debut you've ever seen, and people are going to be fighting, Chelsea fans are hyping up more than ever. Yes, we're winning the league. If that was like the best debut we've ever seen, or it would have been, of course, what we have now seen, all the Liverpool, Brighton fans coming into haunt us with the, oh, look at Caicedo, that's 150 million that cost you, giving away a penalty, not winning any interceptions, not making any forward passes, not having a single shot on target, whatever. So it was always going to be either or. And unfortunately, but I would rather Caicedo start off really poor and build and then prove everyone wrong.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think a perfect example of the opposite is our favorite João Felix, or one of our favorite João Felix, because he started on such a strong note, and everyone was head over heels for him. Even though he received the red card, everyone was
Mudryk,
like, oh.
and Mudryk.
What?
You can put Mudryk in that bracket of having
absolutely. They and we talked a lot about this last season as well, that they started on such a strong note because they were so hungry to prove themselves. And then I think because they did not have a good enough manager, they just crashed. So I guess, yes, it's fine if Caicedo, it's literally the opposite. Caicedo started off on a horrible note, but fear not, he has a quality manager.
Yes,
it's polar opposite.
But also, he was like, he's rusty. Like, people forget he didn't really train with Brighton, you know, throughout kind of pre-season, and he wasn't really involved because he was so eager to make his exit and just leave, and, you know, came to London. And I don't think he actually trained. You know, he did appear very rusty, couldn't quite settle into the game. And especially when you're coming into such a hostile game where you're behind and you're, you know, you're getting booed and he was literally getting booed, Michelle. He was getting bullied by West Ham's fans. And it was definitely difficult. And 150 million or not, the guy's 21 years old, you know, coming into a game of that much magnitude where you're expected to make an impact straight off the bat. You know, unfortunately, even in our wildest dreams, it was unrealistic. But I do agree that he should have done better. It wasn't, you know, even for someone rusty or not, it just was a poor debut, you know. Then when he gave away that penalty as well, I think that was just the cherry on the cake. And unfortunately, you know, yes, it happens, but it's just unfortunate it happens on your debut. But we're going to have to give him time. I mean, you know, absolutely. Whatever it is, he is here to stay, and we've spent this money on him now. So we can only, you know, grow on that. And clearly it wasn't right for him to start either. I thought he would be in that starting 11, but, you know, Pochettino obviously read that very well and thought he's not ready to take that start. You know, he's going to come off the bench and, you know, hopefully make that impact that we need. But I'm sure he starts on Friday, Michelle, on that Chelsea versus Luton on a Friday night. No other place to be on Friday, guys. It's Stamford Bridge against Luton. Let's have it. I've been to Luton. It's a nice place.
Sorry?
I've been to Luton. I did my work experience at Luton.
Oh.
I actually love to go to the away day. I actually would love it.
I find it funny, though, because I'm not from England. I'm from Denmark. And if you asked me about the football club Luton 3 years ago, I'd go, who? Who? But I actually really like when smaller clubs make their way up to the best league in the given country they're playing in. I feel like it gives football a bit of character rather than just the same teams season in, season out.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll be 3 easy points. It has to be. So I don't mind at all.
No, absolutely. I think, you know, we can kind of swallow the West Ham game because it just was that game. But I think with Luton, I think if we're dropping points and, you know, we're conceding, that's, I think, when we can sit down and have a conversation about what is going wrong here, because, you know, there really is no excuse. You're at home. You've got the advantage. I'm pretty sure they haven't even played a game yet. They're coming to, you know, play basically the biggest club in London, so it's gonna haunt them.
They are coming to play
down that motorway, and, you know, welcome to West London. So I think it's going to be an interesting game for sure. I mean, I'm excited, but I'm also expecting goals. You know, we can't be not finishing our dinner on Friday. We have to be scoring those goals. And although Sterling did have a good game, absolutely, you know, brilliant game, and, you know, that shows that he does deserve to be involved in getting starts. I would bench him for this game purely just to give Noni Madueke glimpse of the day, play against Luton. It's a perfect opportunity. You know, if Pochettino is trying to ease Madueke in, start him against Luton, start Mudryk on the left and start Jackson up top. Let's have a back four. Let's go back to, you know, what has worked for us in pre-season and what we know to be, you know, a good system for us. And let's just have those three kind of linking up at the front, because Noni Madueke is great at cutting in, and, you know, Jackson can, you know, buy himself some time to make that run in behind and, you know, expose them on that front. So I think we get 3 points on Friday. I mean, come on, I predicted 3-1, Michelle, for Chelsea to beat West Ham, and it really did come and bite me in the bum afterwards. And
you got the score right.
I said it with chest, Michelle. I said it with chest. 3-1 Chelsea. Oh,
you got the score right, just the wrong way around. No, I was very quick to jump in on that boat with you. I was sure we were gonna go to London Stadium, get our 3 points, and then just get out of there. No,
well, we did get out of there,
not.
but with no points.
What?
I said we did get out of there, but with no points.
Yeah, oh, we absolutely did. But I'd be very disappointed, and I think it would be a disgrace if we do not, like you said, we're on home soil. It's just it needs to be 3 points. There's literally no other option than 3 points. It's embarrassing if it's not.
Yeah, I think I'll delete social media if not. I'm joking, guys. No disrespect to Luton, by the way. I'm actually really excited to watch this game on Friday. I'll be there, but, you know, we are hoping, obviously, for our 3 points and our goals there. So, yeah, absolutely great. But, yeah, Michelle, I mean, moving on from that, of course, Nicholas Jackson, one of our, you know, most impressive players in pre-season, was close to scoring against Liverpool, came close to scoring against West Ham, but just is falling a bit short. I do think he was a little bit isolated, though. I think there was very little movement from everyone kind of in behind, and nobody really making that run as well. We were very static in that game. So I think Jackson struggled a little bit because, I mean, even though he's so gifted physically and he can dribble through players, I think West Ham, you know, did a great job at pushing him off every single time, you know, he got anywhere near the box there. So I think he did struggle. But I think he still deserves a chance, because I think what it is with Jackson is it's scoring, isn't it? And it's just building on those goals like he did in pre-season. I think as soon as he gets his goals against Luton, I think that just boosts his self-esteem high up again. And I just think he is so involved, even though he isn't, you know, because I said this, he's not that striker that's just lingering at the top there, just like Lukaku did, just waiting, you know, having a fag, you know, waiting for the ball to get passed over the defensive line.
He's the opposite.
He's the opposite, yeah. So that's why I rate his work ethic so much. And I'm not going to be quick to judge on him not scoring goals. You know, yeah, give it 2 games. Maybe, yeah, we can sit here, have that conversation. Maybe, you know, what's going on if he isn't testing keepers and he is missing sitters, etc. Then yeah, but I'm still patient with Jackson. I think we've got something good cooking. I'm seeing people already saying, oh, we should have brought a striker, and yeah, we should go in for someone perhaps in January. But there is so much time till January. If we need to come in for a striker, then yes, we absolutely will. But right now, we're working with Jackson. That's who we've got up top.
And we spoke about this as well. We were, I wouldn't say nervous, but we were excited to see if he was actually going to be giving the chances or if he was just going to be benched. Because we were a bit afraid he was going to be a Mudryk 2.0 and Poch wouldn't really capitalize on what he had built in preseason. So that is very positive to see that he has been starting 2 out of 2 games. And he has been involved. He has been involved, even though he hasn't scored goals. He still contributed, and he's still. I think there's so much more to a forward rather than just scoring goals. And I think Nicholas Jackson is a perfect example of that. And I think actually Timo Werner, I speak so much about this German, but he had he had glimpse as well, and he had work ethic, and it didn't work out in Chelsea. But a forward needs to have so much more than just scoring goals, and I think we're very lucky to have Nicholas Jackson.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. And on the opposite end of the pitch, then, of course, we brought in Robert Sanchez, and I must say I'm not completely convinced by him, but it's only been 2 games, so I'm not going to be quick to judge on that. However, I do have my worries, and I'm sure a lot of people do, and I'm sure you do too, Michelle. But
Yeah.
we have brought in a Serbian goalkeeper from MLS called Petrovic. I'm Bulgarian, so I can pronounce that. He's Serbian, so we're neighboring countries. Anyway, I'm just showing off. He is a young keeper. I haven't seen him play, can't lie to you, but I did look up his stats, and he's got a good clean sheet record. He's he's impressed. He's kept quite a lot of clean sheets in consecutive games. He's got a good penalty saving percentage as well, which is something we weren't used to. Good at long shots, stopping that, shorter ranging shots, good at stopping those. So we seem to have a keeper now that's going to compete with Robert Sanchez. And although none of the two strike you as that world-class goalkeeper that you've got there, that can push and be equally as good as the other top 6 teams goalies, but I think we are investing in youngsters. That's what it seems as, and they will be competing for that spot. How concerned are you about our goalkeepers, and do you think that we might struggle to keep clean sheets even when we do start scoring goals? And do you think that that could maybe be another cause for concern when we look at our goal difference? It was shocking last season, but it was because we weren't scoring at all. At least we weren't conceding as much. But yeah, do you basically feel confident with our goalkeepers at the moment?
I can't say, to be honest. I feel like I couldn't tell you about what was his name,
Petrovic.
Petrovic. I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. So I can't tell you. I know it's a really boring answer, and I know but I genuinely could not tell you, and I don't know where I stand with the goalkeeper situation.
Exactly, Michelle. I mean, that's the fact that you don't know is literally kind of the answer to the question. But anyway, yeah, I just think obviously they've got loads of time to prove themselves. I just think because defensively we didn't look good in the West Ham game, and then you haven't got that goalkeeper there that you're just 100,000,000% confident in. Yes, he's saving that. Even if Colwell makes a mistake, he is there. He is picking that. He's collecting that ball. Whatever. It just almost kind of makes you hold your breath a little bit because it just can slip through his fingers. But yeah, not a massive cause for concern now, so we won't dwell on it too much. We have brought in someone that is going to keep Sanchez hungry as well for that number 1 spot if he does want it. And I'm sure he does want it because, he wasn't first pick at Brighton at all, didn't really play, and he's come to Chelsea. He knows there's a big job here to be done. He knows that he's got to be, step up his game massively. So maybe that's an advantage that he is going to be even hungrier to keep that number 1 spot. So he is a number 1 first choice goalkeeper. So maybe that is an actual advantage there as well. But we will see. But yeah, feeling a lot better about the upcoming fixture, feeling more positive. I would like to see some changes in that starting 11, of course, and the formation. I think Pochettino didn't quite get it right on Sunday. But yeah, I mean, guess that's a good wrap. I think we've covered quite a bit. Michelle, anything you want to say?
I feel like I could go on, but it's really good for you and I to compose ourselves and just stop chatting on when we need to stop chatting on. So no, not really, to be honest.
Still on the road to being completely carefree, though.
What?
Still on the road to being completely carefree.
Yeah, want a bit of a detour from last episode, aren't we?
It's been a roller coaster. Like they haven't even invented a roller coaster like that. Anyway, enough waffling, guys. Subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV. Like this video. Comment down below your thoughts on our new goalkeeper signing. what you expect to see from the Luton game, who you'd bench, who you'd start. Get involved, guys. Let us know. Thank you so much for watching. Check out our personal channels as well, and we will see you in the next one.
We will.